And the masters of the universe.
Fabulous secret powers were revealed to me the day I held aloft my magic sword and said,
By the power of Grayskull,
Alright guys, so today's workout is going to be legs, but it's going to be a little bit different to what I used to be doing last year, because unfortunately just before Christmas I did tear my quad ever so slightly. Not a bad tear, I will recover fully, but I haven't quite got there yet, so I'm having to rehabilitate myself before I go back onto the heavier weights, the squat and all the rest of it, right? So with that in mind, what I've done is I've come in and I've done a basic warm-up to start off with. 30 minutes on the bike, just over 10 kilometers, burn off around 225 calories, right? So it's good weight management sort of exercise, but it also gets the blood pumping into the legs and in and around the knees, right? So with that, I'm now warmed up. For today, what I'm going to do for legs is I'm going to do low resistance but fairly high intensity work that is easily controlled, where the risk of opening up the injury and making it worse is minimum as possible. It's the first time that I've trained legs since my tear, so it's just over a month worth of complete rest. So hopefully things go well, but you know, sometimes injuries and tears, they can be a little bit unpredictable. So with that in mind, I'm going to start off with some leg extensions. That's probably going to be the only work that I do on quads today, but we'll do a little bit of hamstring work with some leg extension, leg curls, and we may even do some hip work as well. But we'll see how things go. You know, I might just go on the leg extension machine and basically open up the injury on the first set. So we don't know how it's going to go yet, but you know, you've seen how I've warmed up on the bike, and now you're going to, obviously, I'm going to talk you through my leg extensions as I do them. So fingers crossed, all things go well, and I'll see you on my leg extension machine right now. Alright guys, and so for a leg extension, I opened up with a total resistance of 180 pounds. This is a weight that I've done many times before, and you know, I have my little book here, my little diary that tells me what I've done in previous workouts. So I knew this was a perfect one to kind of go straight in. Leg extensions don't need much of a warm-up. They're kind of like a warm-up movement anyway. I use them traditionally to warm up for squats. So I could kind of go straight in with what is a relatively heavy weight right from the word go. Okay, and my intention was to do a reasonable number of reps, but with Mike Mentzer heavy duty style, as you see here. That is using the eccentric pause, if you see here, pausing in the middle before then completing the rest of the movement. What that does, it just takes all the momentum out of the lift. So you know, when you're moving the lift, normally it can get a little bit easier the more you move it, because once you've overcome that initial inertia, it gets easy from there on in, really. You know, the weight kind of takes partly the way up for you, so you have to put less effort in. And I want to work the full range of motion. I want to work the full size of the leg, regards strength and size development. And another way that I do it is if you notice, even though there's 180 pounds worth of pressure through this movement at the moment, it's actually all coming from bands. Now this is a plate loaded machine from Pullum, excellent piece of kit, and I do, as you see in a minute, I do add weight to get it beyond the 180 pounds, but the base level of 180 pounds I create using bands. And the reason again why I use this is because it takes away momentum. Bands get harder to move the more they're stretched, and so the base resistance at the bottom is around 180 pounds, but it actually goes up towards the top. What that means is it doesn't matter how fast you move that weight, the resistance increases the more you extend those legs, and that just means that you're working all the way through an equal, if not greater amount as you go up. You can't use momentum to get this up, so this prevents you from cheating. Even when you're not trying to cheat, it's just one of those things. Once you start moving a weight, it gets easier to push, right? And that's, and again, a reason why I'm using the bands in this case, along with the pauses. Now the eccentric pauses in the middle also do a great way of just stressing the muscle at the point of, you know, sort of peak pressure and tension. We've just moved on to set 4. Set 4, I went up to 200 pounds. So like I said before, this is where I start adding the weight. So I use the bands to create 180 pounds worth of resistance, and then I add weights on top of that to bump it up the rest of the way. This is actually just a tidbit over 200 pounds when you consider the weight of the collars and stuff. But 200 pounds is roughly about 92 kilos, something like this. So again, it's quite a lightweight. You know, if you're going for a 1 rep max, this is a very lightweight, but as you can see, I'm not doing that. On here, I actually get 12 heavy duty, high intensity reps, whereas on the previous 3 sets I've got 16 reps, right, if you were counting. But just by increasing that weight, I was umming and ahhing between putting an extra sort of 10 pounds on or an extra 20-25 pounds on. I went with the 20 to 25 pounds on in the end because of course I was umming and ahhing, partly because of my injury, but also because, you know, adding that little bit extra on can actually make a big difference, especially once you're already tired. You know, 3 sets of 16 on 180 pounds before this had already blown my legs out a wee bit. You know, if I come on to 200 pounds fresh, I probably would be doing 16 reps on here, but with the fatigue there, the 200 pounds starts to feel pretty damn heavy. And I didn't want to drop below 12 reps. So I actually called this perfectly. 12 reps, as you see, as we're sort of approaching the end of the set here, is literally bang on perfect. You see, I give the 2 thumbs up. And I was pretty much there. So I decided to go up to 215 pounds. Just to take it that little extra for that kind of last set, blast set. I always have a last set, blast set mentality or principle where when you get towards the end of a particular movement, whatever it might be, when you get to the end of it, you go all out. And I mean it. You go absolutely all out. You do not hold back. Okay, you go for as many reps on whatever weight it is. So I added just those few extra pounds, and on this particular one I'm doing obviously the heavy duty reps that you see on the previous sets, but I also then put some really good negative work in there as well, which is a real great way of increasing your strength and hypertrophy of the muscle, stimulating hypertrophy of the muscle. As you can see here, these are what I mean by the negatives, where you lower the weight as relatively as slow as possible. You don't go as slow as what the weight must be moving all the time. It must never be completely still, but you take it down very, very slowly. And I'm mixing in here with it partials also, which again can help just increase the tension within certain areas of the range of motion. You can see I'm in absolute agony, but it's really good also for rehabilitating injuries. Okay, a lot of physiotherapists, they'll tell you do negative work because that's what can help heal tears in muscles, because you're not lifting massive weights necessarily, although you can do force negatives, but that's a slightly different thing. That was something that Dorian Yates did a lot of force negatives, where you're lifting or you're doing negative work with weights that are far too heavy, beyond your 1 rep maxes. Anyway, I moved on to leg curls here, and I did 2 sets overall on here. I wanted to do ideally 3 or 4 sets, okay, and I wanted to do some hip extensor work after this also. That also sort of works the hamstrings also inadvertently, not indirectly perhaps, but I must admit on this particular movement, my right leg, both when I was standing on it and also doing the curl with it, was being put under quite a bit of pressure. I felt the tear, which is it's more in the sort of adductor of the thigh, so the inside of the thigh where the tear is, and so I think that's why it was being put under a little bit of pressure, because I was having to go slightly skew with. I'm improvising with this piece of kit, guys. This is a leg extension machine, it's not a leg curl machine, so it's not the perfect angles to be able to do leg curl. The range of motion is not 100% bang on, all the rest of it, right? Better than doing nothing, but as I say, because it's not a dedicated piece of kit, I'm having to go slightly skew with. And that is making this particular movement harder on my injury. You know, my legs seem to be able to handle the straightening and extension of the leg quite well at the moment, but that slight twist that you get by coming on slightly skew with, slightly sideways, is definitely putting a lot of pressure on me here. Anyway guys, I'm going to leave you there. I'm going to come back in a second on the full screen with the commentary that I gave at the end of the workout. Overall though, I really enjoyed this particular workout. It's great to be back in and doing legs once more, and hopefully soon I'll be squatting, sooner the better, right? So cheers, enjoy the rest of the workout, and I'll see you in just a few seconds. Well guys, that's it for me today. I'm going to leave it there because my leg was starting to hurt towards the end. I actually found that the leg curls were provoking my injury more than the leg extension, which was pretty surprising. As I say, you can never quite predict how your workout's going to go when you're carrying injuries. You never know quite how they're going to react to what you're doing. So with that in mind, I am going to back off. I was going to originally do maybe one more set of leg curl and some hip extension work, but you know, as I say, what's the point? I'm just going to potentially provoke my injury. I'm going to walk away feeling great, and I feel like at least I can do something now over the next few weeks until I build up my confidence enough to be able to go back onto the squat bar. All I'm going to finish off with now off camera is an hour ride on the exercise bike. I should be able to do about 20 to 22 kilometers during that time and burn a good 500 to 600 calories. So great weight management, and it's an hour of chilling just to myself. All I do is I put my tablet on, watch some YouTube videos for an hour. Oh, it's absolute bliss. So with that in mind guys, I'm going to go off and have my little bit of a chill session now on the bike. In the meantime, I just want to thank you so much for watching my videos. I wish you the best of luck, and it's ta-ta and goodbye from me. Bye bye.